Hello everybody, and thank you for coming back to the channel and to this build of the Dumas Hurricane and the conversion to RC. In the last chapter I put the wing together, so like the pieces of the wing, so left wing, right wing and also the center section, and I'd left it off that I was starting to do the planking of the leading edge. So this is the right wing. I've planked all the leading edge. I think I've sanded it down also. It looks nice. It's very enjoyable work actually. It does take time, but it's kind of nice. I'm not sure if there's any reason why I should not plank the whole wing. Probably not, I won't do it, but I think some model that is to come I'll probably go around planking a whole wing because it is quite enjoyable. I've done the top part of the leading edge. This part I have to leave still undone because that's where it's going to connect to the center section. And here I've also started with the underside, which is the big sheets, or relatively big sheets. I'm reusing some of the scrap wood that I can, so then at least we know that this is model 313 from Dumas. And this is the one that I have the most advanced. So this is the right wing. Then on the left wing I've just about finished the top leading edge, still haven't sanded it down, and I'm about to start. You see there, you might see the glue is still wet. I start also the lower part and the center section. I've also, in this case, I started to plank before I sand down the leading edge. I don't know if there's any advantage to that or not, just wanted to try it. I've done the top part, and I've started to glue also some of the pieces for the landing gear that I might not need. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that, as I might not actually need that. But anyhow, it's in the plan, so I'm putting it there. So for this chapter, I hope to finish this planking of the leading edge. And then I also need to install the servos. I have these small servos I'm using, that I'll glue them somehow to these bases. I hope I don't break anything now while I show you. And basically put it all together and also glue all the wing together. And once that is done and nicely sanded down, I'll have to do the tissue covering, which is also a tedious job because it is a lot of surface to cover. So anyhow, follow me along on this one, and hopefully in this one at the end we'll have a complete wing and almost ready for final assembly. So a bit of an update. I've got progress with the planking of the wings, and I was about to glue in the servos. I need to find the servo tester to make sure that it's in the center, and I can't find it in my mess. That's my problem. But as you can see, this is pretty much done. But then I observed on the comments, it was Raymond, who actually gave me this model, so thank you once again for it. He came up with the idea to reinforce it by putting in maybe some sheet of balsa in between the spars, because the main spar is really two very thin or very small pieces of balsa, and the idea that I think I understood is to putting also some balsa in between, and that would strengthen it much more. Like this one, it is already stronger than it was, but it still twists quite a lot. I don't know if you can see it, but it does twist. Putting in this piece of balsa would probably strengthen it. I probably would not then do the planking here. I could, but maybe it's not necessary if I manage to strengthen that spar, right? So it's quite a lot more pieces to put in. I still have one more to put in here, as you can see. And I've got some progress also on the center section, but there you are. Still some to do, but I like this idea from Ray to put in that to strengthen the main spar. I also have a new sheet of balsa, which is I think quite light. It's called medium. I think it's standard. It's called standard, so it's medium. But I think it's a bit lighter than what I had before and softer. So I don't think it will be a problem with weight, and I think it will give actually quite a lot of strength. And at the same time I'm postponing the dreaded maiden flight and doing what I enjoy, which is working with the balsa, right? So I'll do that as best I can. It will take quite a lot of steps, a lot of measuring each piece individually, and only then I'll go ahead and glue in the servos and see how I manage to get access to the servos, the arms, and then glue the wing together, sand it down, and then start with the covering. So I'll do this part and I'll let you know how it goes. And an update on the build. So as you see, I've managed to put in more of the sheeting in between. I've put also then the full leading edge. I've sanded down the leading edge of the center section, and I've connected already the left wing with a dihedral. I've gone with 1.5 inches instead of the 2 inches. I'm following the experience of Skippy, so I've put 1.5 inches only. It should be enough, I hope. What I've also started to do, I've connected the wing, and it wasn't as easy as it might look, because there are 8 connecting points and they all have to fit at the right place at the right time and everything, so a little bit of a challenge there. But I've also started to put on the sheeting to connect it. Hopefully it has a bit more strength. Somehow those 8 connecting points still don't seem to be enough. I was a little bit clumsy, and I don't know if you can see it if it focuses. I broke this stringer when I squeezed it, so I had to put in a doubler, so I've put it in there. And then also another thing that I started to do, because the landing gear will also be there at some point, I've put in these reinforcements. I have no idea if that's how it was meant or not, probably not, but I thought I'd probably better put them in now before I pick the wing up and I put on the tissue. Now the landing gear won't be used, it'll be just for show, let's say, so that it stands. Most of the time it'll be standing somewhere probably, so at least that it has a place to stand nicely. And also you can see under the battery is just a weight. I've stuck on the servo already, and I've made the little hole a little bit bigger so that I can put the servo arm better, and that's the progress so far. So the next step will be to putting one more plank in here. Let's see if I zoom out a little bit, in here, and then also connect the right wing, which is here, which hopefully I'll do. Then that's the next step. So, and here is the Hurricane. I haven't glued it together, just put it on to see how it would fit. I'm not sure if it's my mistake or if it's by design, and let's see if I can show you this. When I present the wing to the fuselage, there's a gap, either at the front or the back or both sides. There's a little bit of a gap, so I'm not sure if it's, as I say, by design. I'm not too worried because I can always put a filler or something there. The important thing is that there's enough surface somehow to glue, which I'm not sure about, but I have to figure it out when I do then the final assembly. So there's a gap there at the front or at the back, you see. I also have to put in the new ESC, because the ESC that I had, the receiver that I had, I put it into the little glider. I'm going to put the fuselage aside, and here is the wing in all its glory. Big thing. It is quite sturdy. I'm picking it up just from one part, and I mean, it's, let's see how much it weighs. It's not light. I would say it's a bit heavier probably than design because of all the planking, but on the other hand I think it is quite strong, much stronger than it was. Let's see if I put it there just like that. 36, 37, 38 grams, which I think is okay with the 2 small servos there, and the landing gear reinforcement, planking, sanded down, leading edge. I think it's okay. I might do a little bit more sanding before I go with the tissue covering. And on the other side also, you see there the underside, it's also nice and planked. What I have done, I've painted then the ailerons, the parts that aren't going to be covered with tissue, I've painted them grey. I did it black initially, then I didn't like it, so grey I think is a better choice, as the tissue will be grey, so that it doesn't pop out either with wood color or with any other color. So hopefully grey will somehow mask it a little bit. And now the next steps, maybe a bit more sanding and then tissue covering. I start with the underside with the grey color, same as with the fuselage. And with these big surfaces there's always a temptation to put big sheets. I might put one big sheet, I'm not sure actually, I don't want to fall into that temptation. So maybe I'll put like some sheets, like I'll just cut them to size and put one sheet here to cover this part, another sheet here. So basically go same as planking but with the tissue. So let's see how that goes. Not as fun as the wood, I have to admit, but also we'll see progress. In terms of woodwork, I'm pretty much done other than the final assembly, and I just need to do then the control horns. I do have the control horns for the rear surfaces, for the tail surfaces, these that I made, if you remember. I have to make some also then for the ailerons. I have to design them, and probably out of also plywood I can make them. I might have some somewhere, some plastic ones, I'll see. I should have painted this also now that I think of it, but I'll do that then later. So anyhow, very nice very nice progress. I kind of like it like this. I want to somehow enjoy it also with the structure. And next step is the tissue covering. Brief update on the tissue covering of the wing. So I've done the underside, so the top side is still has to be done. I've done the underside in grey, and one thing that I always think, and I fall into the trap, is when there's some mistake or something, I think the tissue will fix it, and actually no, the tissue actually makes it worse. I have some wrinkles here. I don't know if you can see them. They're quite horrible. I'm going to try to get them out with more water and glue. It's already shrunk, and some panels do seem to be quite smooth and taut. Others a little bit wrinkled, so it's a bit frustrating. But it is what it is. That somehow working with tissue is what it happens. Like at some point, I need to try other coats, other materials to cover the model. So in any case, the lower part I think is pretty much done. I'll probably do at some point some other layers, and now I'm going to do the upper part, and that's with another tissue color. This is this brownish color, and I'm going to be putting on top, and then it should end up looking a little bit like the fuselage. And the fuselage, I have it also with that color. Again, I've been doing quite a few layers of the glue and water. Some areas look better than others, a little bit wrinkly. It by far does not look as good as the one from Skippy, but I think that's going to be close to the final finish. I think also the camouflage markings will also help it and will improve it. So back to work and putting on the tissue. And here I have the wing with the top tissue also, so the bottom tissue is done and the top tissue is also on. The wingtip and these bays, they still have not been painted over with the glue and with the water. I still have to do a bit more mix there. Just wanted to show you also the difference in the color. So it does get darker with the glue. The tissue unpainted doesn't look bad either. I think it's quite taut. I think it's going reasonably well. A little bit with the leading edge is not as nice as I would like it to be, but you probably can't see it, so it's okay. And I think that's pretty much it. What I'll do still, I'll trim off the tissue from the wingtips. It's on both, and then I'll put the water and glue on it. Maybe one layer, maybe two layers on it still, and then the next step is going to be to put on the camouflage markings. So that's going to be then part of the next chapter. So I'm going to leave it here because now this drags on, and then on the next chapter it will be the markings and the assembly, and still a little bit of wood with the undercarriage and the horns for the ailerons that are here. I think this one goes here. Let me see if I show you. Yeah, now I need to do maybe some adjustments with the tissue and with the wood to make sure that there's free movement, putting also the hinges and all these things. So there's still quite a lot of small things to do and to get the whole aeroplane assembled. So I'll leave it there. Thank you everybody for watching and following along and all your encouragement, and I'll see you next time.